This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
PSP State General Secretary Armstrong arrested in connection with the 2008 Law College students' clash. He was named as absconding in the charge sheet. 23 houses gutted in a fire in Pattinapakam. No casualties reported. The flames were doused after 40 minutes. Students left in the dark after the All India Engineering Entrance Exam test was postponed by a few hours after the question paper leak in Uttar Pradesh. 4 Air India flights from Chennai cancelled. Flights curtailed till May 6th. On International Workers' Day, NDTV Hindu does a special report on why bonded labour continues to thrive in India, although it was made illegal in 1976. And Chennai Super Kings are on a slow but steady start against the Deccan Chargers. A very good evening. You're watching the news tonight with me, Divya. Let's bring you the news making national headlines. Almost 30 hours after he went missing, no information on the chopper of Dorji Khandu. Bad weather is affecting search operations. Many ports in India are not fulfilling their obligations to carry out sand bypassing, says Jairam Ramesh. Reports say Gaddafi's son and 3 grandchildren are killed in a NATO airstrike, but UK minister says there is no confirmation. And sweet revenge for President Obama as he trumps Donald Trump after he embarrassed the president on his birth certificate. Well, the BSP's State General Secretary Armstrong has been arrested in connection with the November 2008 Dr. Ambedkar Law College students' clash. The Joint Commissioner says he was arrested on charges of criminal conspiracy and instigating violence. According to the charge sheet filed, Armstrong was said to be absconding. The Supreme Court on Friday directed the DGP of Tamil Nadu to file an affidavit stating as to why those accused cited in the charge sheet as absconding were not arrested. In the wake of this, Armstrong and a city advocate moved the Madras High Court requesting anticipatory bail, but Armstrong's advance bail petition was dismissed.
நிராயப்பட்ட அந்த சார்ஜ் ஷீட்டில் இன்று என்னை கைது செய்வதாக இன்று மதியானம் நான் ஹோட்டல் மதிய உணவு சாப்பிட்டு விட்டு அமர்ந்து கொண்டிருக்கும்போது ஜாயிண்ட் கமிஷனருடைய தலைமையில் என்னை கைது செய்வதாக அறிவித்து கொண்டு வந்தார்.
Moving on, about 23 huts were burnt to ashes in a sudden fire that broke out at 1:30 in the afternoon in Pattinapakam. Several LPG cylinders exploded while bikes and cycles were gutted in the fire accident. 3 fire tenders and 4 Metro water lorries were pressed into service. Firefighters say the fire was put off after a 40-minute firefighting. No casualties have been reported. The cause of the fire is as of now unknown, and the loss of property is yet to be ascertained. The homeless victims have demanded that the government provide alternate houses and compensation for the loss of materials. Well, what was meant to be a quiet Sunday morning turned out to be quite a nightmare for students who took up the All India Engineering Entrance Examination. Already anxious over one of the important exams in the country, the postponement of the AIEEE by over 2.5 hours today due to the leaking of question paper in the Uttar Pradesh had its repercussions in Chennai as well, with confusion prevailing for some time after the students were not allowed into exam centers, with officials not citing any particular reason. Many students and parents, especially those who had come off from far-off places, were left in the dark. The CBSE postponed the exam to 12 noon from the scheduled 9:30 a.m. start, and the second part of the exam started at 4 p.m. The question paper was being sold in the open market in Lucknow for 6 lakh rupees. Well, today is International Workers' Day, or simply May Day, and we at NDTV Hindu decided to focus on one neglected sector, the unorganized sector. Daily wage earners who end up exploited, unprotected and confined as bonded labor. But why does this practice still continue to crop up even after 64 years of independence? Our reporter Krishnamurthy finds out. These are ecstatic faces of laborers who just tasted freedom at Punneri last week. Freedom from bonded labor. Around 500 of them had been working in inhuman conditions at a brick kiln for almost a year before they were freed.
को जोरन ले मुड़ान ले भी बोली कि ना चलो तुम्हें काम किया सो तुमकी काम निकले का अगर खावा के दमू तुमकी काम निकले का अगर खावा के दमू तुम्हें काम करी आसो तुमकी खावा के दमू ना खावा के दो नहीं और तुमकी छाड़ू नहीं.
As early as 1976, bonded labor was made illegal in India. Yet, as this recent incident in Ponneri in Tiruvallur district, where labourers from Orissa and Uttar Pradesh were rescued, proves that this barbaric practice continues to exist in the country. Why and how does this practice thrive?
People who are poor come into desperate situations, like they may have a medical emergency, so they need money, and so they go and look for a job. And what happens is, because they're uneducated and they're poor, these owners take advantage of their ignorance and prey on them by bringing into the system.
NGOs lament that most of the rescued labourers end up going back to work for the contract worker, as they feel they would be threatened by them and harm their life.
They come down, what happens is they realize that they're trapped. These owners trick them and then they won't let them leave. They will continue to harass them and threaten them. If you can just imagine, when they come to Tamil Nadu, they don't speak the language. So who are they going to go to for help?
While NGOs try to ensure that workers are not exploited, experts say the government too should keep a hawk's eye over violations of labour laws and punish the guilty. In Chennai with Krishnamurthy, this is Divya for NDTV Hindu. Well, badly crippled by the pilot strike, Air India has announced that it will now use bigger aircrafts, including jumbo jets, for the few domestic flights they are still able to operate. But the bad news is that flights will not be regularized till the 6th. Passengers continue to suffer on the 5th day of the strike today, with nearly 90% of Air India's domestic flights cancelled. And the BJP slammed the Prime Minister's office for the mess in Air India, calling the strike a cover-up. The BJP spokesperson Rajiv Pratap Rudy says it's a ploy to shut down Air India.
The present dispensation of Air India has nothing to do with the ministry. And I'm sorry to say that the present minister has very little role in what is happening in Air India. And that is being controlled completely by the Prime Minister's office. And if I say that, and I mean it, that the CMD of Air India does not report to the Secretary Civil Aviation. The CMD of India does not report to the Civil Aviation Minister. He reports directly to the Prime Minister's office. So all my charges are towards the Prime Minister for this mess.
This is NDTV Hindu's News Tonight. Coming up, a Chief Minister's chopper lost, found and lost again. Exclusive details when we come back.